Hi guys, and welcome back to Dice Down Gaming. I apologise for my lack of content recently. Work has been really busy, and I've just not got around to making a video. But I found some time this weekend to get some content out, and we're going to take a look at the Lord of the Hunt, the new 18mm solo for Old Umbrey. A bit of the rules, what it looks like, and my general sort of thoughts on it so far. So we'll kick off with what it looks like, and I think it looks pretty incredible. The massive wolf, really, really cool. The little wolves around him, I really like. And I really like the scale of it. The 80mm makes it really beefy, really thick. Um, I'm debating whether I'm going to get one or not. Currently, all my old Umbre fit in one box, and it's very convenient. And to get one or two of these guys means another storage method. And yeah, I'm not sure, but envision it aesthetically looks very, very cool. Let's take a look at the rules for the model. So we've got 15 boxes on the model. So the 9 points for 15 boxes. Not massive. I think battle engines aren't that much more expensive and typically are like 30-ish boxes. So not too hard to kill on the face of it. We're an 80mm base. We're unstoppable, which is always good to see. Tough, which is a cool interaction. Pathfinder, Old Umbrey have all got that. Dual attack, which you'd expect, and cavalry. So if you charge, you've got a boosted initial attack. You can collect corpse tokens, which is a trend in Old Umbrey. For one corpse token, any more within 10 lose stealth. It's really nice. The faction doesn't have too many ways to like en masse handle stealth. A shepherd can give out guidance to one model, and you have the heads on the primevals, which have essentially true sight. But apart from that, mass stealth can be harder to handle. So this is really nice utility for one corpse. Second is that your thrown javelin becomes rate of fire 2, and you gain hunter, where you ignore concealment and cover. That's really fantastic. The javelin, I think, is a highlight of Lord of the Hunt. So getting that extra throw on it, really, really good. And 5 or more, you gain Hunt Internal, which is when it's disabled, remove all corpse tokens of damage from it, and it's no longer disabled. This is really nice on a 15 box model. There's some cool interactions with this with Bodan. It's been confirmed that if you're on 4 corpses and you are disabled and you trigger a last word, you can make the attack, get your 5th corpse, and then Hunt Eternal will trigger. So a good way to keep him round, which is fantastic for his point cost. One thing I didn't go over is his stats. Speed 8 is really nice to see because you pay a lot of points for him. Mat Rat 7 is a standard for like an elite model, which is great. Maybe Mat 8 would have been nice, but that is what it is. Def 13 on an 80mm is really reasonable. And Armor 18, which is pretty fair because we're not a massively armoured faction. Next up on the card is Fortune Hunter. Absolutely fantastic rule. Additional dice, damage, and attack if you're hitting a character model. Really, really good. Make that Mat 7 really accurate into any character cohorts, character solos, and obviously leaders. Very good at hunting them down. Reposition 5 is really, really nice to see on this 80mm. Hopefully lets you go in and get out a little bit or throw a spear, get out, stay safe. So that's really cool. And steady, you can't be knocked down. That's really nice. Actually, he's got tough, so you can't negate the tough by knocking him down. As well as this, you've got the thrown javelin. Now this really interacts well, nice with Fortune Hunter, being able to throw a ranged attack, which is 3d6 to hit on a character from range, is really strong. We're Rat 7 and range 10, and with dual attack, and speed 8. So we could charge 11 inches. We could hit something, then kill it, and then if we kill that and we're not being engaged anymore, we then can throw a javelin at something else within 10. That's a 21-inch effective charge and throw. And when it's pretty good at getting leaders, that's a really good thing to have in your back pocket. Once you're 3 corpses and you're rate of fire 2, suddenly you can charge and kill something and throw 2 javelins at something within range. And then after all of that, you can repo 5. So the model can definitely get some work done. And on top of all of that, we were now Weapon Master. So they're throwing these javelins at characters. We're only power 11, but we are 4 dice damage. That's 14 on average is 4 dice, so you get to 25 on average. Say you're an armor 18 model, that's 7 damage. Armor 16, you're now up to 9 damage. Really good against leaders, I think, especially. and a rule called Bone Keeper. When it destroys an enemy with the javelin, you can pick someone on the table that can use corpse tokens and hand it to them. So he doesn't have to fuel himself. If you need to get the starve, the key corpse on a key turn, he can hand it to them, start building up your primevals, or he can also take it himself. So a nice way to distribute corpses where maybe Veroni is too far away to collect them. Really nice. Then we have a Blessed Huntmaster's Axe at power 14, and a Bite at power 15, which if it hits, you get an additional attack. So that's on the face of it, the rules of the model. My initial thoughts were 15 boxes at armor 18 for 9 points. It's gonna be a bit of a liability, and you have to really try and protect him to keep him alive. He does have his trick of having 5 corpses and being able to essentially respawn. But that said, those corpses then aren't going to primevals, which really want it. The starved want some corpses, etc. So if you want to use that resource, you're taking it away from other areas of the army. I think there's some really neat tricks with charging and throwing the javelin to key targets. He can be obviously excellent against character cohorts or leaders. I think that's where he'll excel. If you're playing an army with no character cohorts or no character solos, you might be a little lackluster, right? You say you charge a cohort and you do a power 14 charge, a power 15 unboosted, and a power 11 weapon master throw. You're not really doing much for an armor 20 model, so I don't think that's where he wants to be deployed to. He's not bad at killing a few in a unit. So I suppose with only 2 initials and a 1 throw, you're unlikely to kill a unit himself. But there are options in the army to maximize his output. I think he might work quite well as operating by himself on a flank, throwing a javelin, maybe going back, going in and killing, say, 2 or 3 models of a unit, getting some corpses, repositioning back. That could work really well. I think with the current trend of like medium wound infantry and lots of cohorts, there's going to be a lack of good targets for him to fight. But let's talk about a bit about in the army, what sort of interactions are there? So first of all, we say Casimir, the werewolf, the sort of shifter leader. He offers carnage, but not much. So I wouldn't say there's too much interaction there. And then Galena, I would say, offers very little as well. Bait the Lion is only cohort. Does offer +2 death on the feet, but already has reposition 5. So limited uses, I'd say, with Galena and Casimir. I think when we get to places like, let's go to Yana, Overtake and Cleave, suddenly means he's going to get a few more attacks, right? This is effectively 2 attacks. This is 2 attacks. You've got critical shred, and also dash for himself, stir the blood, and furious strength to make him a bit more powerful. So I think maybe Yana offers a bit more to Lord of the Hunt and lets him do a bit more with 1 activation under the feet. You then got Reznikova. I think, again, limited usage with Reznikova. Obviously, the feet makes him a bit more accurate. Spring Blades on a 15 box model, maybe not every attack will kill him, but I don't think it'll take a lot to get him down. She can sort of keep him safe, fire a forest, but I think there's limited interactions with Reznikova. Then you have Bodan. I think Bodan makes everything excel, right? Insight making him Brat 9, Mat 9. That power 11 weapon master. Spear is suddenly power 13. Your initials are 17 and 16. Suddenly you're probably not too bad at going into like a light war beast and doing some damage and then repositioning back out. But I think that's true of everything under Insight. Everything's better under Insight. So there's no direct synergy. He just makes him better, but Bodan makes everything better. So bears at 10 points are probably you make bears much better than you do just 1 Lord of the Hunt for 9 to 10 points. So maybe not there. Maxim offers him +2 speed on the feet, which is not bad. Offers him battle formation, so you could be armor 20, which is not too bad either. Arcane Might to boost the attacks damage rolls on the power 14 and 15. That's not too bad. Maybe you do suddenly get to sort of remove lights with Maxim as well. So I think there's interesting places for Lord of the Hunt. Do I think he will be in every list always? Definitely not. I think that the Old Umbrey list construction is really tight. I spoke about before about trying to fit in support and shifters and cohort and shaft to die and functional units. Trying to get all that puzzle solved can be difficult. Suddenly allocating 10% of your list to this solo who might do some damage to a character model, if not will kill a few models in a unit, go backwards and then maybe die at 9 points is a tough point sink. I think there is some potential to, maybe play a heavy assassination list, maybe Resnikova with a couple of spear primevals and a couple of Lord of the Hunts, maybe Galena with pincushion and a couple of spear primevals and a couple of Lord of the Hunts could do something interesting with trying to assassinate an opponent's caster. Maybe Yana, one of these on the flank will probably mop up a unit once you've got the feet up. But I think where it sits is a very fantastic looking model. Aesthetically, it's really killer. Rules wise, I think it's very fun. I think the idea of charging in, throwing a javelin, repo 5 out looks great fun to play. But I think the practicality when you get to a game or in the current meta with lots of cohorts, lots of medium infantry, is that he charges in, maybe kills one medium infantry or does some light damage to a medium sort of warjack, repos 5 back, and is probably then removed. So I don't think he's going to set the world on fire in Old Umbrey, but I think he could be, a great laugh to play. Maybe if you really lead into a heavy assassination board, you have a couple of Lord of the Hunts that have both got 3 corpses, a couple of primevals that have got their spears. That's a potentially quite a lot of output onto an opponent's caster. It can all ignore cover. Well, can at least ignore concealment. The primevals can have true sight with their heads. So maybe there's an angle for like a really cool assassination list. But I think where I sit on Lord of the Hunt is that really fun, not overly practical, and not is going to go in all of my lists. Will I buy one? I'm not sure. The model's really cool. I've got one War Mag box which fits all of the Old Umbrey apart from Lord of the Hunt, so I'll see about that. If you got this far into the video, thank you for joining me again. I'm hoping to make some more regular content, maybe once a week if I can and work allows. But until then, I'll see you in the next one very soon.